So the interesting thing is we covered this story a very long time ago, Kate. I don't know if you even remember, but there was a whole amazing news that you could have NFTs within apps in the App Store, and
Remember?
that was like the news, and everyone was so happy. Then it came out a few weeks later that Apple put all these terms and conditions in place, and the biggest one was that you'd have to pay 30% of every transaction that happened on it to Apple. Now that's all well and good when a membership is $10 and Apple takes $3, but
Yeah.
Apple wanted to take 30% of the total transaction fee. So even if the NFT was free, but gas was $10, Apple wanted $3 of the gas, not understanding that the full $10 goes to the miners, and that means that literally the developer would have to pay $3 every time a transaction for a free NFT happened. Anyway, they were taken to court for that. I don't know if I've lost my mouse. It would be very weird. Okay, he's there. There he is. Okay. And they were found, it was deemed to be illegal by a US court. Now, I do think it's important to know that this is not always the end of things. Usually, especially with big companies, a lower court will say it's illegal, then they appeal, then it goes to a higher court until it gets to the Supreme Court, and then whatever they say happens. But so far, the Federal Appeals Court issued a ruling declaring that the 30% tax on in-app purchases of NFTs was illegal. This decision could significantly disrupt the way NFTs are sold and bought on the popular App Store. The ruling could greatly impact the NFT community, right?
Mm.
So the application was brought by Epic Games, and Epic Games was the one who wanted to introduce NFTs into their Apple app, and they successfully won this case against Apple. And the decision declared that Apple's mandate for developers to use their in-app payment system on NFT transactions stifled innovation, hindered competition, and was illegal.
Yeah.
And the ruling was part of a re-evaluation of a lawsuit brought by Epic Games, the company that made Fortnite, against Apple in 2020. And on Monday, a panel of judges re-evaluated the lawsuit and withheld it. My question is, can it go further than the federal court? I don't know what the courts are called there versus here. Like I know here the highest is the Supreme Court of Appeal. I don't know if that's what your equivalent of the federal court is. Do you know what the highest court is called in America? Maybe any of the viewers know.
Supreme Court.
Is it also the Supreme Court?
Mm.
Okay, so
there might be another one, but the Supreme Court's the one. It's the top one. There's
that's
probably
the highest one.
There's probably a secret hidden one.
Yeah. So this is the federal appeals. This is the federal's appeals court. So if there's a higher court, assuming that there is, they'll definitely take it on appeal.
And so
it actually says the community expects Apple to appeal.
Got it. Well, I was going to say also, I saw, because I covered this story on TikTok, and I remember there's a couple comments about it and said this is very standard. And I was like, it might be standard, but a large majority of these NFT apps were going to be free to download, and Apple has a policy for free to download games that does not include a 30% tax. So I was like, it's kind of unfair that they just like only chose NFT free apps to not. I was like, that's kind of where it's not really fair, because it's just there's no other reasoning. I was like, this is.
You see, the thing is, when it was a free game on the App Store, the in-app purchases, which are optional in that free game, Apple would get a percentage of that.
Right.
And so here, that's what they apply. Apple was applying the same logic here, saying, okay, what's stopping you from creating your whole economy within the game, making it free? So so Apple earns nothing on it when the person downloads it. And then the in-app purchases are all NFTs. If those are free also, Apple's making no money on it, whereas you are potentially making money on it, right? And that's why they wanted to do that. But again, it's not the end of the story. There will be an appeal. But, every time it goes to a higher court, the higher court upholds it. I don't know. I think your chances of even higher court uphold it. This is now the second time that it's been upheld. So let's see what happens on appeal. But definitely short-term, nice bullish story for the space. Yeah.
Sure.
Another bullish story